Well, the other day I was, well, more like a week and a half ago, I was like, I'm looking at this one ICO. I think it's actually live right now, by the way. The pre-sale or the ICO. What I'm not sure if it's a pre-sale or ICO. One way or the other. I think it's live. Um, and I was looking into, because everyone talks about, well, YouTube's the only platform, right now, and they shut channels down that try to speak the truth and this and that. And I said, there's one in particular, although there's two I want to tell you about. As you can tell from the title, Vewdly, that is, like viewing, Vewdly, peer-to-peer system, and Flixxo, that's two X's, Flixxo. I'm not sure if Vewdly is already, it was talked about 4 months ago, and this thing I was looking at, it may be too late for the ICO on that one. But the other one's Flixxo. I think it's going live now, and I like Flixxo better, I think, than Vewdly. So, let me just show you the screenshot because I know I was telling you about it. I wasn't going to do a video, actually. I was just like, what the hell? But I'll be honest, I kind of like the way Flixxo is handling it. And I thought, my biggest thing was, and this is for both of these, and there's even another one. I forget that, Vewdly, and there's another one I found. Same kind of thing. So it's like, okay, we've got a few of these video platform, ICOs, whatever tokens. Which one do I go with? I don't know. Now I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not into any of these at the moment. Although I am considering Flixxo. I'm considering Flixxo, and I'll tell you why. First, let me get with Vewdly, because there's competition. Which one do I pick? Vewdly, a peer-to-peer blockchain-based and absolutely decentralized video platform. The new YouTube? Question mark. Someone wrote this on Steam. They talked about it. This is from 4 months ago. And the website, by the way, is view.ly, like Vewdly. View.ly is the website. That's the website of the project. I screenshot it, yada, yada, yada. But it says, it's powered by the blockchain and peer-to-peer video sharing. The problem, the incentives between content creators, their viewers, and advertisers are inherently misaligned. Viewers are bombarded with irrelevant ads. Creators sacrifice quality of content for quality of views. Advertisers lose due to inefficiencies in reach and rampant ad fraud. The solution, a decentralized video platform for creators by creators. Creators build a tribe of dedicated fans and receive Patreon-like support through frictionless micropayments and subscriptions. So that's the key. Creators can also sign sponsorship deals, fan base, whatever. So it says creators get multiple income streams without profit-taking middlemen. Creators get multiple income streams without profit-taking middlemen, or whatever. It's another part of this. No pesky ads, no middlemen, blockchain-powered. But it goes on to talk about, where's it at? So, patronage by fans. Fans can directly pay creators to fund their content, either as a subscription or a one-off tip. Creators can make Kickstarter-type packages to fund premium content. Rewards for upvoting. Rewards for upvotes. Money is given to creators based on participating fans' upvotes. Fans can set up a weekly budget to give to creators, which will be allocated based on their upvotes. There's content licensing. There's also sponsored endorsements. So that's one thing. And I might be missing some key elements. And there's one key element that is what's making me lean toward the Flixxo thing. Flixxo, you see, my biggest thing on any of these peer-to-peer is, okay, me as just a person who uses this platform, let's say as a YouTube, the new YouTube thing or whatever. It's peer-to-peer. Remember, like the days, like I said, of LimeWire and all that crap, where we were all this big giant mesh network, so to speak, and a fraction of these files might be stored on my computer or your computer. Tens of thousands of people have the same MP3 audio files. Anyone can go search for a file and download it, right? Of course, it was illegal because we were downloading free music, that sort of thing. This isn't illegal because this is going to be videos that people produce like they do on YouTube. But the key for me was that those people who say, okay, I've got a computer. Now, my biggest thing was videos, right? Videos take up a lot of space. They take up a lot of space. This isn't 3, 4, 5 megabyte audio file. This is potentially 100, 200, 300, 500, 600 gigabyte even video file, depending on the length. You know, you get an hour-long video, it could be a gigabyte in size. By the time it's even when it's compressed and whatnot, it could be upwards of that size. So for someone to give up some space on their hard drive, and again, this has to not just be one person, it's got to be shared across a whole bunch of people, thousands and thousands of people, whose computers really need to be left on for the most part, right? In order for other people to open and click that video and view it. It's going to essentially stream it off your hard drive and your bandwidth, so to speak, right? That's what's going to happen. So I'm thinking, okay, well, you're going to use up potentially a good portion of hard drive space on someone's computer. I don't know if I want that, right? That's the biggest killer for me on all these things. But Flixxo offers an incentive. And again, I don't know that Vewdly's not doing this. I just didn't seem to be able to find it. And that's why I felt like this is literally like the only reason I feel like Flixxo might be better. But if it's the same with Vewdly, then you can go check out both and figure out which one you might like better. To be honest with you, I don't care. I do say we need some competition out there from YouTube, to be honest with you. I hate monopolies, right? Whether it's Vewdly or Flixxo, it doesn't matter to me. Whatever one seems to take off and have the best options for people, including us uploaders of videos. But it allows people, anyways, Flixxo, if you're using your computer to say, yeah, you can use mine for hard drive space, and I'm sure there's going to be a section where you could allocate, oh, okay, I only use this much % of my hard drive, or specifically this much amount of my hard drive. I'm sure there's a setting in there. I haven't looked at it yet. You get rewarded with Flixxo tokens for doing that. Okay? Because the other one I'm thinking, okay, well, we got to buy these tokens on Vewdly. So go to the exchange, wherever who's got them. Let me buy a bunch of these tokens. Now I can go feed them to my favorite person that's uploading videos. Oh, I'm out of tokens again. How do I get more? Got to go buy more. Well, that's kind of like YouTube Red in a sense, where you pay a monthly fee, you don't see any ads. But at least you don't have to go, you know, give thumbs up to give people credit, so to speak, and let them get a piece of your action, your subscription of YouTube Red. What happens with that is YouTube Red, you pay, I think it's $10 a month or something like that. And depending on who you view for the month, it's all in proportion. So, for example, if you know, which would be cool, if I was like the #1 guy you watched 90% of the time on YouTube, then essentially out of that fee you're paying YouTube, whatever they keep and they give to us, that is YouTube as far as revenue goes, and it's usually 55% we keep, 45% YouTube keeps. Essentially, let's say $10, $9 came to, well, it wouldn't come to me half of that because I'm splitting it with YouTube, but you get the point. The majority of it would go to me and YouTube, of course, because 90% of the time your YouTube Red subscription, you went and saw my videos, that kind of thing. But if you watch 20 different channels evenly, let's say, then literally that $10 is split evenly across those 20 channels minus YouTube's fee for every one of them, which is about 45%. So that's a little different. But the other thing with Flixxo, and I know Vewdly has it too, is when you give thumbs up, you're literally giving a token or so, or maybe it's a fraction of a token. I'll be honest with you, I don't know the exact amount. But you're essentially saying, I like what this guy's doing. Here you go. Kind of like Steemit's doing, right? Or with it, which is what under DTube. DTube is using the Steemit platform or the token system. So you give someone a thumb up, they're getting Steam tokens potentially. So, okay, we've got DTube. We've got vid.me, I think is the other one, which isn't doing any of this stuff that I know of. We've got view.ly, Vewdly, and now we have Flixxo, which is brand new. So I had a few people email me, hey, you mentioned that the other day, but you never really did anything. You didn't do a video or nothing. So I'll be honest, I don't know which one you should pick. But I can't seem to find the part on Vewdly that says if you let us use hard drive space, we'll award you tokens, which to me means, which I guess maybe we should try to find out with Flixxo as well. But I think you get tokens on a continual basis, I think, for allowing them to use your hard drive. I'm not sure on that. How about I just play the video? Because let's see if they have a video on Vewdly. No, I don't see one, but I do see one for Flixxo. And let's see what the hell this is about. How about that?
On social networks such as Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, there is value that is transferred between users called like. Whether it's a picture of your dog.
Are you serious right now?
Poem or short video, for every contribution to the community, likes are expected as a recognition for a good job. And they become an incentive for creating new content.
Okay, this is killing me. 100 megabit fiber line I got at my house.
But as there are an limited supply.
Pause.
Limited supply of likes. No.
Let me go back. Let's finish just in case. I'm gonna try this one more time.
But as there are an unlimited supply of likes, no one ever ran out of them. Likes have no actual value, and users give away likes to low-quality content. What if we can create scarcity value on likes by turning them into a freely transferable, tradable token with a limited issuance? What would happen if we transformed likes into like coins? On one hand, you would have to think twice before handing out your tokens in exchange of low-quality contributions, because your stock of Litecoin is limited. On the other hand, you would be able to give away as many Litecoins as you wish on certain content that you've really enjoyed. You could earn your Litecoins back, but this would mean that you should have actually contributed to the social network. Today, all social networks are turning to video as the dominant resource for engaging users on their platforms, but video still relies upon huge costs on storage and bandwidth. By using a token such as Litecoin, called Flixxo users are engaged in helping improve video distribution network by lending their storage space and their bandwidth in exchange of tokens. Spending Flix for consuming the content they really want to watch, and earning Flix back for making the network stronger. Whether it was a smartphone, a tablet, or desktop computer, even a smart TV, Flixxo smartly uses any device connected to the internet, turning it into a part of a decentralized, incentivized, peer-to-peer network that has no structural costs and unlimited scaling possibilities.
Okay, so it's interesting, right? That's pretty interesting. But like I said, I'm not trying to push one or the other. I thought maybe Flixxo seems better than the other one. Let me see Vewdly. If I can find a video, just to be fair. Vewdly. I'm only getting people's views on this. Let me pause this video, see if I can find a video that they did, so we can kind of compare these together and maybe determine which one seems better, and whatever one seems better, maybe we should get into. And we'll talk about that. So hang on one second while I pause this. So I haven't been able to find a single video of what the platform actually looks like. And so I went to the site, which I'll show you. And this is what it looks like. It's alpha.view.ly, Vewdly. I gotta be honest, it looks... Again, I'm gonna use a word from the Smurfs. This is not looking too Smurfalicious for me. Next page. I don't know. And here's the thing, and this is why I'm not sure if I'm gonna get into any of these, honestly, because if I think Vewdly's over, because when I saw their ICO was on October 5th on their main page, maybe it's already over. So maybe their tokens are available, which I'm not even sure what they're called. Let's see if CoinMarketCap happens to have them there. View, no, I type in the word view, nothing happens. What gives these things their real value? You know what I mean? And if you want to think about DTube, which is Steemit, or when Steemit came out first, it was kind of just a post a little story, right? Post a little story, description, hit send, people can give you thumbs up, you get Steam tokens. But again, back on CoinMarketCap, even Steam, you know, 96 cents. And then there's these Steam dollars, I guess, 98 cents. Volume 24 hours, 28,000 bucks. There's no volume there. The main Steam thing, let's look at that. Volume, $705,000, 24-hour volume. That's not bad. I mean, not exactly good. You know, you expect to see a lot more volume than that on some of these things. But what makes Steam tokens valuable? What gave them their value? And we're just essentially thumb-upping each other, right, to post content and then cash in these things. But again, I see some of this stuff as just people, traders out there wanting to play it. Let me get some of these things, trying to make a profit on them, you know, like that kind of a thing. But I mean, even Steemit, when it broke out high, was $3, $4, $4.34 was the high, it looks like. And then it went down to 16 cents. Now that was back in July of 2016, by the way. Enter late 2016, 2017, it's 16, 16, 16. Of course, but then we had the platform really working and DTube's coming out. But same time frame, June of 2017, which is when all cryptos, ICOs especially, the altcoins went. So this one did it too, and it hit about $2.52. Looks like of an all-time high. Well, not all-time, because the 2016 was the all-time, but in last year it was a high. And it's, let me just show you this chart. It's just kind of sitting at this resistance level right around 95 cents or so. You can see it hit here, which let's take a little closer look. Now again, this is back in June, right? So here's August. We have August, September, October, almost November. And you can see the line here, it's already here. It's going just below the line. And there's just this major resistance here. Every time it goes just below this line. Now it's hovering and steadily below that line. So is Steemit going to start, excuse the pun, losing steam? Yeah. Losing steam? I don't know. But I want to see some competition to the club, so to speak. It's not a bad thing, right? If there was only McDonald's for fast food, right? We got Burger King and Arby's and God knows how many million other ones. Jack in the Box, which we don't have in Florida. Who knows? I'm just giving an example. Same with retail stores, clothing stores. These are all kinds of choices. Shoe stores, you name it, right? There's choice. But when it comes to video, there's like, it's just YouTube. And I mean, yeah, there's Live Leak and whatever, but it's got the lion's share. So I'm happy to see some competition. The problem is, and I've said this before, you have, and I use Facebook as an example. Now, we did have MySpace and then Facebook, but usually when the first thing comes out, oh my gosh, this is great, great platform. It's not going to be dethroned. It becomes the go-to, the Twitters, the Facebooks, right? Now, every now and then a platform can come around and dethrone the king, but it's rare. It's like everybody uses YouTube. You know, Google Video tried to compete with YouTube. With the powerhouse Google, the funding, you know what I mean? Google couldn't even take down YouTube, so they bought out YouTube and shut down their Google Video platform. They shut it down and said, we're going to scoop up YouTube. They couldn't compete. So if big old Google had to buy out YouTube because they couldn't compete with it, and YouTube was brand new, didn't even have advertising stuff at the time, you know, when it was in the beginning. And they paid big money for YouTube. Google did. All I'm saying is, you know, Flixxo or Vewdly or the other one or two other ones that are out there going to really compete with YouTube? That's my question. And I'll be honest, I don't know. It may become another Live Leak. Oh yeah, we've heard about it, but again, where's the massive traffic? It's on YouTube. Yeah, but they're shutting channels down for talking about things, you know, like these shootings and stuff. Well, okay, I hear you. And I've seen some people I would subscribe to Gone. What I'm trying to say here, the rest of YouTube's not going to miss them. And or myself if I were to do that and get myself banned. How many of you are there? 50,000 total subscribers? There's nothing on YouTube. There's billions. It's nothing. I won't be missed, so to speak, as far as the general size, you know, of YouTube is even concerned. Won't miss me one bit. So we have a small little niche of people, alt-right media. Yeah, let's follow them over to this side or that site. I don't see any of these sites growing to the powerhouse status that YouTube is. And I say that unfortunately. Unfortunately. But I don't think it costs anything to sign up to any of these sites. So one thing, and alpha, Vewdly's an alpha, Flixxo, I don't see any kind of login or even, you know, here, check out what the platform looks like. I don't see any links for that. So it's you may not be able to do that, but it's spelled Flixxo, Flixxo. And how about I just put both links to Vewdly and Flixxo in the description box. Let you go poke around if you want. But again, I don't see the king, so to speak, YouTube being dethroned. I just don't see it. I appreciate the competition. Believe me, it's good to have competition. But I just don't know if it's going to happen. And I'm not bashing what they're doing here, because now that I see the reason why you want to give up some hard drive space, we're going to reward you with tokens. Hey, that's not a bad idea. Now I can hold these tokens just for letting you use my PC for hard drive space. Which means what? Are people going to build, you know, let me give you an example. Because I will say this, if by chance these things take off to at least some level where their coins have value, even if the platform's not used by a ton of people, but the coins have enough value because enough people are using them. And again, I'm not sure which one, whichever one this I'm talking about happens to be. Let me go to eBay and just show you something, what people would start doing, myself included, by the way. Myself included. If this goes down. And it doesn't have to be a powerful server, but I'm just going to type in Xeon server 16 bay. And you might find 12 bays. We'll see. So here's an old, this is, you know, not a bad server, to be honest with you. 16 gig. This would be more than enough to do what I'm talking about. Right here. $300. Yes, it's heavy, so it's $150 shipping. So let's just round that off. $450, right? $450. It shows up to your house. Now this, actually, let me back up. It's an 8 bay server. I don't want an 8 bay. I was looking at 16 bay. 12 bay. Here's one. Let's just use the 12. And I've actually, believe it or not, I've purchased some servers from this guy right here, Mr. Rackables, funny enough, in my time. So here's one, right? 2U, which means it's about this big as far as tallness. Typical 19U or U space or whatever, 19 inches. Now, granted, this one is a 16 core. This is a pretty powerful processor. Okay? You don't need something like this. All we're after, my friends, is hard drive space, not super duper processing power. So let's scroll down. 8 bay, 16 bay. Here we go. This is old. This is probably an old one. It's got dual processors, 2 gigahertz Intel Xeons, but I'm telling you, it's probably an old puppy. But again, if it works, and it's only to, you know how people mine coins? Mining stations. This may turn into the new thing if Vewdly and Flixxo and whatever the other one or two other ones out there become somewhat of a platform being used. Again, this makes the tokens valuable for us that would have something like this, because we're now saying, hey, use our storage. So essentially, $125 with a $32 shipping price. So let's just say $200 for goodness sakes. Yes, it's an old one. Sterling X13, whatever, 2 Intel Xeons, 8 gigabyte, which I'm assuming is RAM, no hard drives, but it does have, as you can see, 16 slots. So what you would do is, we got there. Hang on, here goes my email. That stupid thing from annoying me. What you have here is the ability to put 16 hard drives into this. Now, it'd take a little bit of technical level to get this going. Not too bad. And the other issue is, with 16 hard drives, there's a chance one of them might crash. So, for layman's terms, if you daisy chain them, as they call it, just a bunch of disks in my terms, and one fails, you're done. Which that would be a RAID 0 array. And actually not daisy chain. We're talking, yeah, well, RAID, not just a bunch of disks. RAID 0. So RAID 0 means if you, for example, each of these was 1 terabyte, you bought 16 1 terabyte drives to fill up here. You would have 16 terabytes of space ready to go for this kind of a platform, which means you got some serious space for them to use. In other words, this isn't going to be the computer you play with or use every day. It's going to be sitting over there. You might buy 2 or 3 of these suckers, and you have a nice broadband connection at your house. You're going to need it. And again, RAID 0 means this hard drive connected to this hard drive, connected to this hard drive. And 1 terabyte all of a sudden becomes one drive, one hard drive that's 16 terabytes in size. But if one of them fails, the whole thing is finished. So literally what you would end up doing, honestly, and you're probably going to want performance, right? Because if there's a lot of people that end up streaming off you may need some performance, off your bandwidth and whatnot. And to do it properly, you would want a RAID 1, or in this case, because you got so many drives here, what is known as RAID 1 plus 0 or 0 plus 1, doesn't matter, RAID 10. And that means the top 2 rows would be 8 terabytes, right? Because we had 16 total. So the top 2 is, in other words, see the 4 on the top? The second 4 underneath it, that's 8 total. Okay? That's 8 terabytes. That's one drive, essentially. The next one, which is the next 2 down, you have 8 more drives again. That's your cluster of drives, so to speak. So you have one up here, one down here. You configure it with the onboard RAID system that I'm sure this thing has, and you tell it, we want RAID 0 plus RAID 1. So in other words, the top you're going to get is not 16 terabytes. You're going to get 8 terabytes total. But if any of the drives fail, they're saved because you have basically a duplicate. That's why you have the rows. The top row and then the next row under that. If one of those fails in the top row, it's okay because the bottom row's got it covered. And vice versa, it's okay. And it'll let you know that it'll probably beep or flash and let you know a drive is filled. You take the drive out because I'm sure it's hot swap capable. Put a brand new drive in, shove it in there. It will rebuild the array, usually by itself. And then it'll shut up and be happy. This is on a drive failure kind of a thing. But that's the old school spinning disks. However, they're cheap. They're a lot cheaper than solid state drives. And for something like this, I'd be going as cheap as possible. So I would get a bunch of drives, old school, PETA drives, spinning disks, which you can get cheap. And by the way, you can get them a lot bigger than 1 terabyte these days each. So how about some 4 terabyte disks each? The only issue is you got to make sure whatever you're buying can handle it. Because the RAID controller on board may be only able to see up to 1 terabyte. Or maybe even less if this thing is so old. So you have to figure out what's the model, search the specs online, what's the maximum hard drive it can handle. Oh, okay. And then you know. So this is just an example of a possibility in the future that may or may not happen. But if you got 2 or 3 of these things, and you got 4 terabytes drives in each of the damn things, and again, you got to do a RAID 10 really for performance purposes. Man, you could kill it. Now you might also say, well, I'll just go RAID 0, and if it fails, I'll wipe them and start over again. Yeah, people lost the videos, but then again, they didn't, right? Because the rest of the network across the world has those videos stored anyways. You're just another node, so to speak, that had them too. So there's another possibility. The hell with RAID 10. I'll fill that whole entire thing up and just go balls to the wall kind of a thing. Let her eat, as they say. So if you have 16 terabytes of storage and this thing's using that and your bandwidth at your house, you're essentially getting fed coins. So where I'm going with this is, could you imagine people, instead of stacking ASIC miners and video cards and computers trying to mine coins, which become obsolete usually in a month. People do this and constantly get fed these coins, but the coins have to be valuable. And that assumes Vewdly is kind of the same way. So anyways, just a little chat, a little bit of technical stuff at the end, just in case this could become something. So maybe watch those things and see where they go, and watch the value of their tokens. Because if their value of their tokens is even kind of decent, and maybe we can determine, well, how much of those tokens do I get as a node, so to speak, with a bunch of hard drive space? And is it a one-time fee that I get only once, or is it a continual basis of me trickling in these nodes? You know, how does that work? And again, I don't have the answer to that. But I did want to tell you about Flixxo, because that was the one I was watching the other day. I didn't do a video yet. It's been about 2 weeks. And I've come to find there's about 3 or 4 of them that are very similar. And the main 2 that I really see the most is Vewdly and Flixxo. I don't know that I'm going to get in any ICOs on these, but I may watch their tokens once they hit the markets, and then I might buy in. I don't know about just jumping into the ICO, though, because I think Flixxo is still active. I don't know about Vewdly. Anyways, long video, but hopefully I gave you a little bit of, some technical stuff at the end that made it worth it, in case you're thinking the same thing I was thinking. Hey, we might be able to make some money off this. Not even buying and flipping coins, but actually just letting them use my freaking hard drive space and let it go. Maybe. Take care.